Hello everyone. We all had our favorite bedtime tales as children, beloved stories of magical creatures and great loves that would end in happily ever after. What we didn't know, however, was the truth behind these fantastical and marvelous stories. So today we are going to tell you about 5 fairy tales which holds horrifying and disturbing truth. Number 1, Sleeping Beauty. The story we all heard. Once upon a time, a beautiful princess pricks her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and falls into a deep sleep. A prince from out of town climbs into the castle to see this legendary napper. Overcome by how fit she is, he kisses her and awakens her from the curse. They get married, blah blah. Now the real story. In this early version, the princess doesn't prick her finger on a spindle but instead gets a sliver of flax stuck under her fingernail which renders her seemingly dead. A king from out of town finds, rapes and impregnates her while she's unconscious, before heading back home. The princess, still in her coma, gives birth to 2 children, one of whom accidentally sucks the splinter from her finger. She wakes up. Upon discovering this, the king's wife tries to kill and eat the 2 children. The rapist king decides to burn his wife alive for her attempted murder, cannibalism. He and the princess get married, blah blah. Number 2, Little Red Riding Hood. The story we all heard. Once upon a time, a little girl on a Red Riding Hood skipped off to visit her grandma. She gets stopped by the big bad wolf, who decides to run to the old lady's house, push her into a cupboard, and gets into bed dressed in the woman's clothes. Little Red Riding Hood, who's not the brightest tool in the box, is a little puzzled about her grandma's new facelift. What big teeth you have, Grandma, before the wolf pounces on her. A couple of woodcutters hear her scream and rescue both the girl and the grandmother. Now the real story. The earliest known version of the story doesn't end so well for the girl and her grandma. Instead of putting her in the cupboard, the wolf eats the grandmother before convincing Little Red Riding Hood to get naked and hop into bed. He then gobbles her up as well. In case the getting undressed bit wasn't sexually suggestive enough, the contemporary French idiom for a girl losing her virginity was elle avoid vu le loup, or she has seen the wolf. Number 3, Snow White. The story we all heard. Once upon a time, there was a princess whose skin was so darn pale she was named Snow White. Her wicked stepmother had a mirror that would tell her she was super hot, until one day it told her that Snow White was actually even hotter. This made the stepmom terribly angry, so she tried to get her killed. Snow White runs off and ends up crashing with 7 dwarves. The stepmother turns up one day dressed as an old woman and gives her a poison apple which sends her to a deep sleep. The very dashing Prince Charming sees her lying in a glass coffin and decides to kiss her even though she's unconscious. She wakes up and they get married, blah blah. Now the real story. The original Brothers Grimm story has the wicked stepmom cooking and eating what she believes are the lungs and liver of Snow White. They actually belong to a wild boar, but she doesn't know that. When Prince Charming meets his beloved in the glass coffin, he decides to, keep the body. It is only when his servants stumble while carrying the coffin does the poison apple become dislodged from Snow White's throat and she awakes. The stepmother turns up at the wedding of Snow White and Prince Charming, where they force her to dance in a pair of red-hot iron shoes taken straight from burning coals, until she falls down dead. That's payback for you. Number 4, The Little Mermaid. The story we all heard. Once upon a time, a young mermaid princess makes a deal with the sea witch where she transforms into a human for 3 days in exchange for her own voice. If she can kiss her prince within the 3 days, then she can stay a human for the rest of her life. A selection of kerfuffles take place that prevent the kiss from happening, and the mermaid's dad and sea witch end up in a fight that ends in the tragic death of a fish and a seagull. The 2 lovers reunite, kill the sea witch, and Triton loses his stiff upper lip and transforms his daughter into a human. They get married, blah blah. Now the real story. In the original Hans Christian Andersen version, our mermaid princess trades her tongue for legs, but the deal is that if she cannot win the prince's heart, she will die and turn into sea foam. Despite dancing, in sheer, excruciating agony, for her prince, he decides to marry someone else. So in the end, the mermaid dies and dissolves into foam. Number 5, Mulan. The story we all heard. Once upon a time, a young woman decides to dress up as a man and take the place of her frail father to fight in the army. She's braver and fights better than any man, and gets a horse and bag full of money from the emperor himself for her courage. She goes home to her parents' overwhelming joy and becomes a family legend. Oh, also there's a tiny dragon and cricket in it somewhere, if you believe Disney. Now the real story. The legend of this badass gender stereotype-defying woman was originally found in the Ballad of Mulan, and different versions of her story can be found throughout Chinese history, including in Chen Rinhuo's novel. Sadly, the Mushu Comedy Murphy character doesn't make an appearance. Instead, Mulan returns home with her rewards only to find that her beloved father has long died and that she must serve as a concubine to Heshana Khan, the real-life ruler of her region. Mulan decides to commit suicide, saying, "I'm a girl, I have been through war and did enough. I now want to be with my father." So no happy ending, after all. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you loved this video then please like, comment, share, and subscribe our channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for latest updates. If you have some stories with you and want to share it with others then let us know about it, we will share it for you to others. Let us know about it in comment box or send us your story in mail on the provided email address in description.